The shir is dedicated to Echad Mi Yode'a Basrav Chaim Tzvi. We're going to study again one of the most unbelievable piyutim that's found after the Seder, the piyut of Echad Mi Yode'a. The obvious question with reference to this piyut is, Ma inyan Shemitah Eitz Har Sinai? What's the connection between this piyut and the Seder? It's true that the night is a night of numbers and calculations. We have Dalet Kosos, we have Dalet Bonim, we have Dalet Lashon Shel Geula. There are those who have suggested, I saw in the parish of the Haggadah of Hagoyin Rav David Feinstein Shlita, that by enumerating the basic elements of our Emunah, we're expressing our affection for the mitzvahs of the Torah. Since the Zohar calls matzah Michlad D'nei Musa, the matzah of faith, of Emunah. And certainly at the Seder, it is significant that we reiterate and re-articulate the tenets of our Emunah. And, of course, this song has a special appeal for children, helps keep them awake. That's certainly a very fascinating element of Pesach night. The association given here to the numbers, he points out, Hagoyin Rav Feinstein Shlita, are fairly straightforward, with two exceptions, 9 and 11. 9 are the months of gestation. In those months, we have an opportunity to prepare ourselves for parenthood, how to raise children, and teach ourselves how to train the child to love Hashem and serve Hashem. At the same time, the child, the Gemara says in Nida, and the Gemara points out that the child is being taught Torah in the womb of its mother. Even though the Malach is mishakek the Torah from him, causes him to forget the Torah, but nevertheless, Rishum Onikar, as the Balatanya writes, that the impression that was already, shall we say, given over to the child has now been indelibly imprinted on his persona, and he has the hachana that's needed to be a tzaddik. He'll be able to build in this foundation. The Achad Asar Kochvaya, the 11 stars, symbolize the 11 Shvatim that are to be distinguished from the 12th, Shevet Yehuda. Yet, immediately we're told that Shnei Masar Shivtaya, the 12 of the tribes, because they have equally important roles to fulfill in serving Hashem, even though one day have been singled out for the burden, for the prestige of leadership. So the question we have to really deal with, and there are many questions, and perhaps we will formulate the questions, and they are the following. Number one, as I said, Ma Kesher. What's the connection between this particular Mizmar, the Piyut, and the Yom Pesach? Secondly, the very methodology that was utilized over here seems to be very childish. Echad Mi Yode'a, Echad Ani Yode'a. And that seems to be somewhat difficult to understand, the particular methodology that was utilized by the Paita. Thirdly, you'll notice that there's a constant refrain and repeat, and I'm referring to, we have after Echad Ani Yode'a, Shnayim Ani Yode'a, Shnei Luchos Habris, and again, Echad Elokeinu B'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz. Each time we are once again repeating, and it seems to be rather repetitive, again and again and again. At 4, we mentioned the first 3, and at 5, the first 4, v'chulu v'chulu. Beyond that, the Paitan also mentions Dvarim Shel Chol in the 7 days of the week, Tishri Achei Leida, 9 months of gestation, which would seem to be more relevant, or perhaps just as relevant to Goyim as they are to Klal Yisrael. What's the Chiddush exactly of those particular items? And we already referred to 2 of them. In general, an issue that is also a question I saw asked by some of the Mefarshim, why the numbers are written actually as the following way: Shlosha Avos, Shisha Sidei Mishnah, Shiva Yemei Shabbata, as opposed to utilizing the construct state, the Smichus, Shloshes Avos, Shivas Yemei Shavua. It would seem to be more in sync, more in tandem with the Kedusha of these days. Rashi actually comments in Sefer Shmos when the Torah speaks about the 3 days of Choshech, where Lo Ro Ish Esachiv, Lo Kamo Ish Mitachtav Shlosh Yamim, L'chol B'nai Yisrael, or B'Moshrosam, and the Meshech Chochma as well, Vayikra, Perach Zayin, Psukim Hey through Zayin, is mechalik between the 10 in the first pasuk and the 10 mentioned the Gabi Erchin. But this also is a question why the smichus, why the construct state is not being used. Furthermore, the Python here begins with Lashon HaKodesh, and at a certain point in time, the Python then goes over to the use of Aramaic. The Python speaks of, in the context of Shabbos, he tells us Shiva Yemei Shabbata, and as well we have the language of Dibraya that is utilized by the Python in the context of 10 Asarani